Hello, my name is Parker, and I decided to make another little rambling video because my last one was quite a bit ago, and quite a bit has changed in both real life and RuneScape. Thought I'd update you guys all, and I'm mostly making this for in the future if I ever want to look back on what I've done and kind of see how I've changed and whatnot. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right in. Like I said, my name's Parker. My username is Glad now. It used to be Solo Parker. I recently changed it. But yeah, I'll just go ahead and jump right in. So in my last rambling video, which was, I think that was recorded back in October of 2017, I was hunting some black shins and I had some goals in mind. First off, the start of this video is mostly going to be real life stuff, and then I'll focus more on the RuneScape aspect of things. So if you don't want to hear my real life stuff, go ahead and just skip ahead. But yeah, so like I said, that first rambling video was back in October, and at that point in time I was beginning my student teaching. And if you don't know, student teaching is like the culminating project that we do as education majors in college. And basically what it is you've done all the classes for your endorsement, you've done all your classes for your teaching major, and then what they do is they throw you into a classroom with a mentor teacher, and it's a real classroom, so it's like an actual teacher who works for full time. And you're there I was there for a quarter, so about 3 months. And what they do is they wean you in to full-time teaching, so you start slow, and then after a couple of weeks, it's basically your classroom. And so I was essentially a full-time teacher for 3 months, and writing lesson plans, grading, doing all that, while playing RuneScape. And you also have to write like a little portfolio. I think mine was like 40 pages or something, to kind of prove that you know how to teach and stuff. And I'm proud to say that I passed that. And what that means is that I now have my diploma. I graduated with my bachelor's degree in history education, and I have my teaching certificate, which means I can teach secondary history / social studies. In the secondary means I can teach in either high school or middle school. And I'm going to be focusing mostly on high school, is what I want to get my job in. And the really cool thing is, since then I've been subbing, just been a normal substitute. I can sub for any class, making some decent money doing that. And then actually about a week ago I started a long-term sub job. And if you don't know what a long-term sub job is, it's basically when a teacher is going to be gone for an extended period of time. For example, the teacher I'm subbing for right now had a baby, so that means that obviously she's home taking care of the baby and she can't be in class teaching. And so they have to bring in a substitute, but that substitute's going to be the same one for the rest of the year. And so what that means is I basically get to write all the lesson plans, do everything I want. I can be basically a full-time teacher in that position. I get paid like one as well. And the really cool thing is I'm doing my long-term sub job in the same school, and it's actually right across the hall from where I did my student teaching. So that's cool for kind of exposure and getting my foot in the door. On top of that, I actually had an interview there. The school is switching from a 6-period day to a 7-period day, which means that they need more teachers in every department, and they're hiring one social studies teacher. And I had an interview about a week and a half ago, and I should be finding out sometime this week if I get that full-time teaching position, which would be really cool, because it's pretty tough to get a social studies teaching job right out of college. I will address why I'm mining here in a little bit. You will notice I have quite a bit of mining XP, but I'll talk about that later. And then I guess the last thing I want to talk about in terms of real life stuff is the Marine Corps. I don't know if I mentioned it in the last rambling video, but I am in the Marine Corps Reserve. I've been in the Marine Corps for about 5 years now, and part of being in the Marine Corps is every month we have to do like a weekend of training, and then in the summer we have to do a month of training. And this year the Marine Corps decided that the summer was in May for whatever reason, and normally we just go down to California for our training, but this year we will be going to Lithuania. I can't really talk much about what we're doing in Lithuania because it's kind of like secret stuff, but we're going to be training with some NATO forces down there. It's not like a deployment or anything like that. I'm only going to be there for 20 days. but we're doing some training. We're training some other countries. I will be gone for about 20 days in the middle of May. So if you see my CML kind of drop off, then that's why. I won't have access to internet. I won't really be able to zone or anything like that, which is unfortunate, but it's kind of a once in a lifetime experience, and I definitely want to go do it. But yeah, so that's mostly it for real life stuff. Hoping to get a job for the fall and move out and become a regular teacher. But kind of on to RuneScape stuff. So just like real life, a lot of stuff has happened in RuneScape since my last rambling video. And in that rambling video, I talked about some goals I wanted. One of them was I wanted full Armadillo. I think it was hunting Black Shins for Armadillo in that video. And I did end up getting full Arma. I can't remember what kill count I got it on, probably around like 700 or so. But I ended up getting the Armadillo chest plate. And actually, Armadillo is the only boss at God Wars Dungeon that I've completed. So I have all the full armor set and the hilt, which is really nice because on an Iron Man with a T-bow, full Armadillo is really, really good. You can use that for a lot of stuff. And then another one of my goals was 10,000 Mole and 10,000 Zulrah. I haven't necessarily gotten around to that yet. I did about 4,000 Mole over the course of about a week because I was just kind of burnt, which is nice. But I haven't really done much Zulrah. I think right now my kill counts are sitting at about, I'd say like 4,500 Zulrah and probably 7,000 Mole, which is still decent. And I do want to get those up to the max kill counts that we'll probably need for Iron Man mode in the future. Within the next year, I'd like to push my Mole up to 30k and my Zulrah up to about 18,000. And that 18,000 is just for scales. Scales is mostly what we're killing Zulrah for nowadays on Iron Man. I mean, the tree seeds help and whatnot, and the money you make, but it's mostly the scales that I'm going for. But I don't really have a definitive plan for when I want to get that done, but I will be doing it sometime in the near future. And then I also talked about fire making in my last video. I said maybe after 200 mil thieving, I was going to go do 200 mil fire making, and I think I'm at 35 mil fire making. Yeah, 35 mil. Not too much. Every time I try to go there to Winter Todd, I just get burnt and don't really do it anymore. But I do plan to do that in the future. And then I think one of my other goals was 20 mil base. I wanted to get 20 mil base for all my skills, and I got it for a few. So obviously I got it for mining. You can see at the top I'm at 103 mil mining. I got it for herblore, 20 mil herblore, which is really, really nice on an Iron Man. That's a lot of hours. Fletching, which is, kind of, it's easy. And then I'm at 21 mil Slayer. I actually got to 20 mil Slayer without the Imbued Heart or Superior Gem. I was kind of angry about that because I really wanted those items. I know it's not super dry, but it would have been nice to get those. And then about a week later, Vorkath was released, and I decided I was going to go back to Slayer and finish up 20 mil Prayer through Vorkath Slayer. And actually, in the same day that I started Slayer up again, I got the Imbued Heart and the Superior Slayer Gem in the same day. So that's nice. I still have both of those. But other than that, I haven't really gotten any of the other 220 mils that I wanted because I've mostly been mining. I started off with mining because I kind of burnt out from Slayer. It's like, oh, okay, I'll go do 20 mil mining. And once I hit 20 mil mining, I was just really enjoying the method, really having a lot of fun with it, pushing myself, challenging it. And so once I hit 20 mil, I said, I'm just gonna go for 30 mil. And then once I hit 30 mil, I said, fuck it, let's go for 50 mil. And then I'm here at 103 mil, and my plan is 200 mil, which would put me at rank 1 for Iron Man. I know it's kind of a meme, but it'd be cool to snag that rank 1. I know a lot of people give me shit because it's the same method as mains do, but I think like rank 15 main and like rank 1 Iron Man mining would be really cool to have a permanent rank 1. So yeah, new items. I want to talk about the new items I've had on my account because in terms of PVM, I did a lot of PVM since that last Ramble video, and I've gotten some really cool items on an account, especially an Iron Man account. So like I said, I got an Armor Top, which finished my armor set and gave me basically max range bonus. And I also have a Dragonheart crossbow from earlier, which is gonna be nice for Vorkath in the future. I actually got another drop from raids that's really nice. Me, Fellman and Lasby were doing some raids, trying to get those guys their prayers on their Ironman, and I actually managed to pull out a Kodai insignia, which means that I have two of the best elite drop rates, or whatever they're called, the mega rare table from raids. I have two of the best three that you can get on an Ironman. So Tebow and Kodai wand, really good to get, and that basically means that I'm never going back to raids, probably ever. I could go back for ancestral pieces, but I mean, at the moment, those really don't do much for me. If anything, they just speed up Zolra by like 1 or 2 kills an hour, and then maybe help out in Slayer, but I don't really plan on doing Slayer in the future. So I really don't ever plan to go back to raids, ever. And then, so my next item is kind of a direct result of those. So I had a Kodai wand, I had a Twisted Bow, and I got kind of memed into trying the Inferno. And I was like, oh no, I don't know if I can do the Inferno, I don't know if I'm capable of it. But then one night I decided, fuck it, I'm gonna try it. And I actually got to Zuck on my first attempt, which is super motivating, big confidence boost. I said, okay, maybe I can fucking do this. And then so I went to bed and said, hey, I'm gonna give myself a week to do the Inferno. And I managed to get the Infernal Cape in 4 days of kind of no-lifing the Inferno, like 12 to 14 hour days, which is awesome because I never really thought I would be able to get the Infernal Cape. I didn't think I was that good of a player. And then after I got the Infernal Cape, I obviously wanted to go do some melee Slayer because I wanted to show it off. And then I put on my melee gear, and it just looked like garbage with my obsidian plate legs. I was like, this looks like trash. And so I went back to Bandos, and I don't know if I mentioned it in my last Rambling video, but at that point in time I was probably 600 kill count dry of anything at Bandos. I hadn't received a single drop, but those were all like kills that I did like walking under the boss, kind of like the noob method. And I decided, hey, I did the Inferno, I can learn how to flick. So what I did was I basically taught myself how to flick Bandos, and I did I think 120 or 130 kills or something like that, and finally got my first drop, which was Bandos Tassets, which is awesome because that's the only drop I really wanted, which means that I have max strength on an Ironman. I probably won't ever go back to Bandos. I have no need for the BCP. Obviously the boots are pretty irrelevant, and then the hilt is pretty irrelevant now because you just use the Dragonheart crossbow of Vorkath, and I don't really have any plans to kill Corp. It's pretty irrelevant for me. So yeah, I got Tassets, and then like I said, I got the Imbued Heart and the Slayer Gem, which are both really nice for the Slayer Gem I use every day on a tree run. Imbued Heart will be nice if I ever go back to Slayer, and then it's really good for Zolra. It's just a nice item to have. As far as future goals going forward, I do plan on finishing 200 mil mining. It'll be sometime in late June, maybe early July. I definitely think I can do it now that I've done 100 mil. I really enjoy this method. I've said I had the 5-minute record, which is just a 6-hour log. It was recently beaten by a guy named No Vacation. He's a beast. I do plan on trying to take that record back, but a lot of it's just RNG dependent. You can do a perfect hour of mining, and you can get 130k or 134. It's just RNG dependent on how many 5 kilogram rocks you get or how many double rocks and whatnot. But I do want to try that again. I set I think the rank 3 day record. It was a pretty bad day record. I was getting up from my computer a lot, resetting my router, getting coffee, trying to stay awake. It was my first ever day record that I attempted, and I hit a wall pretty hard. But I think I averaged 117k for the 30 hours, which it's not bad. It was good enough to get rank 3. I think I'm ranked 4 now. That Carey did his day record, which was insane. And that brings up the idea of trying to set that day record again, which I might, but I honestly don't think I'm capable of beating Carey's record. In his record, he averaged 128.5k an hour, which is pretty fucking insane for 30 hours. And I think if I'm going to attempt another day record, it's going to be for rank 2, and that's just going to be like my goal is going to be 125k. And obviously, if I get anything above that, it'll be better than expected. On top of that, I don't have much free time right now because, like I said, I started my subbing job, my long-term sub job. I'm working every day and then going to the gym. I only really have like 5 to 6 hours a day to mine during the week. But once the school gets out of class in the summer, I do want to attempt the week record. I think it's very doable. It's definitely very challenging. The current the week record is set by Ardino at 16.7 mil, and I think I'm capable of getting 17 mil. It's definitely going to be pretty challenging, especially the one thing I'm worried about is the 30 hour at the end. You have to do a 6 hour, then you start your week, and then basically the last night that you would normally have gone to sleep, you just stay up and mine the whole time, or skill or whatever you're doing. And that 30 hours is going to be very difficult for me, I think, because I don't function very well sleep deprived, at least when I'm playing RuneScape. Obviously, I've been sleep deprived quite a bit for the Marine Corps, but that's mostly like hands-on stuff. I'm active during that. When you're just sitting there mining and the bed is like right behind you, it's pretty easy to just pussy out and go to sleep. But I definitely think I can set a 17 mil week, which would be pretty big. On top of that, I do want to try to set the month record. I think I'm capable of 60 mil. I think that my goal is going to be going into it to 60 mil. I think it's possible to get 70 mil. I would shoot for 70 mil, but that's purely no interruptions. Your family don't need you. You don't have any real life obligations, and your internet doesn't cut out. Stuff like that. I have pretty bad internet at the house I live at right now. I'm usually mining with like 5% packet loss, so that's not fun. But I do, if I have the free time and the XP left to 200 mil, I will attempt that month record. But there's nothing set in stone for that. But I will be attempting the week record at least. As far as what's going to happen when I finish mining, because I do intend on finishing mining, my current tentative plan is to make some money. I have a lot of battle saves in the bank, like 30k or something, and I'm pretty fucking broke. I've got like 15 mil GP. So I want to spend about a week crafting those battle saves, like alching them and whatnot, or enchanting them, I should say. And then from there, I'm either going to go into agility and alch them, or go into Wintertod and alch them. I think Wintertod is probably what I'm going to do. Just get 200 mil fire making really quick. A couple months, shouldn't be too hard, and that'll give me another 200 mil. And I'll probably just alch while I do that. Just I don't really want to waste the time to alch. I hate alching. I hate alching while I run agility too. As far as what's going to happen after Wintertod, it's really up in the air because that's so far away. But I do really enjoy mining, and I think fishing is very similar to mining in the fact that you're clicking a lot. Cut eating is pretty click intensive. It's not as click intensive as mining without a smoldering stone, but it's pretty relatable. I think it'd be cool to have mining and fishing done. So I will maybe look into doing fishing. And then also agility. I want to bust out 200 mil agility. It's a long one, but I think it'd be really good for my account because it'd let me plant a lot of the seeds that I've kind of neglected through mining, and will probably neglect through fishing. And my plan for agility is just to kind of run laps and alch while I'm doing it, and then every 80 or 90 minutes go on an herb run and get all those seeds planted. So yeah, my just to kind of summarize, my goal is 200 mil mining, money making, alch that stuff while I do Wintertod, 200 mil fire making, and then jump into 200 mil fishing, and then 200 mil agility. I guess one last thing I kind of want to touch on before I end the ramble. It's already at about 19 minutes, a little bit longer than I expected, but I did step down as a leader from Erudite, or leader of Erudite. I just really wasn't feeling the leadership role anymore. I'm a leader in a lot of capacities in my real life. I'm an NCO, or basically a leader in the Marine Corps, so that's a pretty big life commitment there. I'm also kind of a leader in my community as a teacher, and so those kind of suck up a lot of time. You kind of have to be a role model in both those positions. And so when I come on RuneScape, I just kind of I like to relax and just hang out and make fucking stupid memes on Twitter and shit. And it probably wasn't the best idea to be doing that stuff while I was a leader of a clan. So I decided to step down. It wasn't for me anymore. I was just going to be a member. And then about probably a month later, I kind of decided that the clan wasn't really for me anymore. I wanted something a little bit more competitive in terms of skilling. Erudite is a great clan for Ironman, but it's not necessarily a great clan for competitive skilling. And so I decided to jump ship. I left Erudite and joined Omnia. I've been having a really good time in Omnia. I've been here for about 2 months now, maybe a month and a half. I'm on TS like every day, talking to friends. It's just super motivating, and it makes the time go by a lot faster when you're skilling and just talking to other people and shooting the shit. But yeah, so that's basically all I really wanted to talk about in this short little ramble. 100 mil mining, little update for you guys. I'll probably make another one at 200 mil mining because my goals might change, my plans might change, because while I've been mining, I have been toying with the idea of killing like 15,000 Vorkath, which would take about 2 months, and that would give me a lot of money and allow me to do one of the Bibles, either smithing or construction. But and I've got a method for construction that's pretty secret, which would speed things up quite a bit. But yeah, I might end up doing one of those. I don't know, but I guess my kind of long-term goal is to get all the gatherers done, because they're not really going to be devalued on an Ironman, or at least not as much as the Bibles will be, or quote-unquote Bibles. But yeah, so that's basically all I've got. If you guys managed to make it this far, thank you for watching, and yeah, I'll see you guys maybe in my 200 mil mining video. Thanks.